Last month was actually Mental Health Awareness Month, and the sad thing is, a lot of people who suffer from mental health issues like depression or anxiety, they actually don't look for help because there's this stigma somehow attached with, or this, I don't know, it feels like you're exposing yourself and showing a weakness, and I'm one of those people. Like, I don't really talk about how I feel because when you meet people, they just expect you to be like, oh, always so happy, and then like always to be all right, but obviously you're not. Oh yeah, I'm Michelle, by the way, and I make video games actually. I'm actually currently doing a video game um, design and production course, and I'm in the last phase wherein I make a final project, which is a game. So I think that video games is actually, it could be a medium in a way that books are for writers or music for musicians. I mean, it's just a way of expressing yourself, except, video games is powerful in a way because it's interactive and people can actually be involved, and there's this interaction, and the interactions that player does in the game affects it at the end of the day. There's this rise of new types of game called empathy games, wherein it allows players to be in the shoes of somebody else. So I want to make like a point and click adventure puzzle narrative driven type thing about what it feels like to live with depression. But of course, depression hits people differently. I mean, it feels one way to me, but it feels might feel some other way to another person. And I thought that it might be interesting to get other people's ideas. Here are also some things that other people have shared. Just Gashola says that she feels like it's like being locked in a glass cube where everybody can see it and trying to communicate with you, but you can't understand. Or like accounting student says that it's just this exhaustion and this, it's like smiling at a neighbor every day and like waving at the garbage man, but then it's all a mask that you she wears every day, and at the end of the day she takes off the mask and just returns to her cave, and then you just go through another day of the same thing. So I've decided that the game would be more like a day in the life of someone with depression. It's like a life simulator in a way, but like even the most simple task gets to be more challenging because of how you feel inside. So I laid out like what I just list out what I do throughout the day and then just lay them out into scenes. So I've divided it into like 12 different scenes, starting with the bedroom about, waking up, and then the bathroom, like getting ready for work, and kitchen, and so on. So that's what I do throughout the day. For each scene, what it is, I have an initial block out of all the different things that I want in the scene, and then I play Sims a lot. So I placed furniture and stuff in Sims to mirror my block out, and then I take a screenshot of that, and then I put it in Flash, and then I would draw over it. So that's how I compose a scene. Because all the different objects in the game is going to have some sort of interaction or some sort of puzzle. The navigation is actually similar to a music video by Hatsune Miku, which is Once Upon a Me. So she's like walking, but she's just walking in place, and the scene just passes by in front of her. So mine is something similar like that. It kind of means like the day just passes by and you don't really know why. It's like sometimes it just flies by so quickly and you just didn't notice like, oh, the day ended. So that's kind of like the feeling and the reason why behind that navigation style. I have a new post-it board for my to-do, doing, and done list. It's a good thing my done has more stuff now. And so I'm just gonna show you some quick snippets of the game. Like one of them is this scene wherein you just you click on the closet, and then you just sit inside the closet. Because so I asked around, I asked you guys like how do you confront your demons? And what he does is, to battle claustrophobia, what he did was he would make himself a cubbyhole inside his wardrobe, and he would just sit in there for hours with nothing but a torch. And this is my interpretation of that scene. And gradually, because he got more and more used to it, and then he actually got over that fear. So that this scene kind of represents the whole, you're trying to conquer something that you're afraid of. I mean, yeah, it looks dark, but eventually you'd get used to it, and then you'd be able to overcome that fear. And another thing that a lot of you guys mentioned is like the feeling how depression is not, it's like a monster, but it's not really a monster because it's you are the monster. So in another scene, so from the closet, which is where you hide all your dark secrets and stuff, this shadow of yourself appears, and the shadow just like walks around in your room, follows you around, and while it's walking around, you can just hear this sound, which is actually another contribution of this person just keeping saying that you're not good enough, that you're worthless, and it's a monster, but you can fight that monster. You can click into that monster, and then you go into this surreal scene, just this scene, wherein you sort of like battle it out. You can win, but you could also lose. But like defeating that your monster, or defeating that dark side of you, when you do that, when you actually do defeat it, you get this points. Because it's a game, so he or she suggested that there could be a happiness or a depression meter as a scoreboard. So as the player moves through a typical day, they are presented with choices that will either shift them towards happiness or depression. And these choices can be actions, mental choices, interpretations, or interactions, including being receptive to help from others. So I've incorporated that meter into the door. So there are different rooms. I originally planned for 12, but now there's only 3, 4-ish rooms. And in between each room, there is a door. And on each door is a happiness and depression meter. So every interaction that you do within that room, within that day, gives you plus points for happiness and minus points for depression or sadness. And the goal is for you to reach happiness. Like, so for example, when you defeated your monster, you got points for that. So that will help you unlock the door. And when you unlock one door of that room, you can go to another room and explore the other one, and so on and so forth. And I've also added another scene wherein you just, because accounting student posted how that she feels like she's just wearing a mask every day. So she just puts, when every day before she leaves, she would, like put on the smile on her face. And so instead of putting a literal mask on my face, I decided to have this mirror where you just look into it and it's foggy, but then you could draw on it. Like, you could draw a smiley, or you could draw whatever you want. But the point is, like, you're looking at yourself and all that, feelings that you might get from, you might feel bad or sad or whatever, or you might also try to look into your mirror and tell yourself that, yeah, today's gonna be a good day, and then you just draw the smiley on your face and you're like, just try to be happy. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's my thought behind that. And so everything in the game, at least all the furniture and the character, is all in black and white because it just feels gray. French Fry Fantasy 23 just says, everything is gray, the color of my eyes have become gray too. And another contributor, Ida SC, says, where do colors and feelings go, and why do happiness gives up? And that is why everything is just black and white. It's not just because I don't like color. It just feels that way. So, and I kind of like, just reading what everybody else. I mean, I don't like the fact that other people experience the same thing, but it makes me feel less alone, and it sort of brings me comfort. And also, like, I think that I want to keep working on it because I want to translate whatever you guys wrote, which are so all some of the visuals and some of the things that you guys are like really really amazing, and I want to like add like a interaction to it, or like add visuals to it, and add that you could like add more layers to text and just make people experience it even more, like have the experience of walking in somebody's shoes, that sort of feeling. So the original plan is for the game to just be one standalone point and click puzzle game. I really enjoyed reading your stories, and it touched me, and it it's just affected me in such a way. Like I know it sounds bad, where you like if you want other people to step into your own shoes and feel miserable, but it's not like that. It's like sometimes it's hard to explain how it actually feels like. It's hard to put into words. It's even harder to have people experience it in a more, yeah, okay, you don't really want people to feel bad, but sometimes it helps for them to gain an understanding, because somebody who did not experience it, they would think like, why are you just sad all the time? Just not be sad. That's the thing. It's hard to explain. It's hard to tell people what it actually is. And I think that game is a very interesting medium, because it's not just like reading a story. It's people have choices that they make in the games, and that has a positive or negative effect. In the game that I currently have right now, is like there are things that you do that give you plus points or happiness, and things that you do that gives you negative points. So it's like every decision that you make within a game, it affects you. So I think that's like a more immersive. It's when people have the ability to make choices, they feel more step into the shoes, or more invested. And I think that that is why I really like games as a medium, and I'm hoping that I can use games as a medium to deliver something more meaningful, which is like mental health awareness, and just to reduce the stigma. My new project is called Mooney Reality. So it's going to be a website wherein people suffering from mental illness can share their stories without fear of judgment. So it's basically going to be a community for people to talk about whatever they're going through. And since I am a game developer, so we are going to make games out of those stories. So exactly what I did in this project, but it's going to be carried over into another site, and it's going to be a more long-term thing. So this project, I only made one game. So my goal with Mooney Reality is to make many games and to have the same level of collaboration. Like people will still be able to contribute their characters or their songs or sounds or everything, like elements that they could incorporate into the game. And then we will also be more open and more like show you behind the scenes about how the game development works, and also get feedback from you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna include a little short clip of our trailer. Is it trailer? Project feature video.
Have you ever felt painfully trapped in your head with no way out? Well, you are not alone. According to the World Health Organization, around 450 million people worldwide are suffering from mental illness, making it the leading cause of morbidity and disability worldwide. That's about 1 in 5 people. But even if such is the case, more than half still remains untreated and undiagnosed. Persecution, discrimination, and stigma are still the main reasons why people are not seeking any kind of help. But mental illness is real. Depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, eating disorder, PTSD, OCD, and schizophrenia. These are only few of the many more serious and painful conditions.
In light of this, we want to present Mooney Reality, a website where people living with mental illness can freely share their stories without fear of judgment. These stories, which can be shared in the form of writings, pictures, sounds, and videos, will be transformed into video games. These games will be designed to visually emulate the mood and inner struggles of the people sharing them. We want the game development to be a collaborative process. People can comment and contribute other elements to complete the game.
We also want these games to be freely shared in the modern world of social media and that everyone can play them. This way, more people will become aware of mental illness as a disease that can be treated, and perhaps the stigma around it can be lessened. We hope to encourage more people to share their stories, realize they're not alone, fight on, and get treatment.
I am Anteyata. I'm a licensed physician specializing in internal medicine with keen interest on mental health.
I'm Michelle Chen, a game developer who believes that games can be used as a medium to raise awareness to sensitive topics such as mental illness.
I'm Michelle Ko, a BS Psychology graduate and graphic arts student with a special interest in the intricacies of art and happiness.
And we are Dip Dip Studios, and we make games with a heart.